Ooh. I'm considering to be.
That quieted everybody down, didn't it?
When we get 2 people on a screen, that really boosts our presence quite a bit. And Paul's going to be joining me soon.
Oh my goodness.
What do you want to get rid of?
They got it on the screen.
Now, this will give you a chuckle. Our dear Norma Raymond, who is 98 years old, decided she had to go to the select board meeting first. So she was torn between coming to this one or coming to that one. When you're 98, can you imagine having that kind of conflict?
What is the issue she's interested in?
I'm not sure what was on the agenda. I may have seen it briefly, but anyway, she may tune in later. I see Gail Graham's checking in. Is that Austin Cleaves with the?
Yes.
Yes, it is up in the corner here.
We got Austin
Oh,
Cleves.
that's good.
Oh my goodness.
That's
sake.
Lee Light too.
Hi, Austin.
Brand new
There's Norma.
East Montpelier right.
Where's Austin?
And Jennifer Boyer, that's great. And Betsy Barstow, you're kind of in the dark there, but I can see that it's your
Lee.
computer, you know, that
These
you're
right in the
there.
middle,
Okay.
right in the center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there she is.
Handle, that was Rick.
There she is.
Oh,
There's
oh,
Norma.
okay, all right, I see Betsy, but you're very dark there.
Norma's here now, Sandal.
Yes, I noticed
Oh.
that, Barb, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
I lost.
And none of us had to drive anywhere, isn't that great? On a really sloppy night.
Of memory, there she is.
All right, I'm gonna hush up. I've done my Walmart welcoming, and it'll be great if anybody else joins us. So Andy, I will certainly let you be the MC, and then we'll get Nathan on a roll. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in and communicating and being ready. And I hope it works out well for you. Take care.
Thanks, Sandal.
Yep, you're welcome.
Thank you, Sandal.
You're quite welcome. Joanne, I'm delighted that you're with us.
Well, I'm up.
You're here. That's what
I'm doing
counts.
better. I'm doing better all the time.
Yeah, you sound terrific.
Thank you.
Good.
All right, take care. Enjoy.
No, we're the Browns and live in the village we used to, and we want to be back there. But it's just, a lot of things happen. But anyways, we miss all the people in the village. And so we got to start getting back over there again. Anyways, I do miss that. I miss East Montpelier.
Yeah, nice to have you here virtually anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I guess we will begin the meeting now. Our speaker tonight on the second meeting we've had on Zoom is Nathan Phillips from North Montpelier. And he's going to share with us aerial photographs that were taken by a company that took pictures of farms and houses in our town and in Calais and a few other rural areas back, I believe it was in 1966. Any thing that Nathan knows himself better than I do, so I'll let him take it away and he can tell you who he is and then what this project is about. Thank you, Nathan. Oh, I forgot. Oh, one quick thing I forgot. I'm going to, for this meeting, I forgot, I wanted to just suggest that we all click on our mute buttons. And I'm giving you all control for that because as Nathan goes through the pictures, he's hoping to gain information from all of you about what you know about these places. So what I would propose is as the meeting goes along, if you see a place that you frequented or know about, be prepared to unmute yourself and feel free to join Nathan in describing what you know about those places. But if you don't have something to talk about a particular place, so that we can control the dogs in the background and all, I'd ask that you all click on that mute button until a comment or a question pops in during the presentation. So with those rules in effect, why don't you take it, Nathan?
Okay, thank you. I think a lot of you know me, but for anyone who doesn't, Nathan Phillips. I live just outside of North Montpelier Village, and I grew up on Hollister Hill Road, just over the hill, basically, from North Montpelier. And I've always been very interested in history, and especially since moving here just outside of North Montpelier, have a real interest in North Montpelier specifically, but all of East Montpelier and the area that I grew up in, Marshfield and Plainfield. So I don't know, it's probably about 3 years ago, I discovered what I think is an incredible historic resource. As Andy said, there is a company, it's called Vintage Aerial, who the predecessor company of this started with sharing, taking aerial photos. I think they're from Ohio. So most everything they took was out that way, but they did come to Vermont.
He's going to share his pictures,
Oh, okay.
I think. I don't know.
I'm going to interrupt for just a second and ask, someone's trying to share their screen right now. And so
Something got pushed.
Yeah, probably without realizing
it
it.
was Manuel Garcia, I think. If you could click the stop share, that would be good.
There's a stop share been pushed there.
I don't see anything.
It's me. I have a hand that doesn't work right and it keeps.
It's saying, all it says is join meeting and sign in.
Yeah, who sees that? Oh wait, I guess we all see that screen right now. But
I don't know if it's you though. That's
I may have.
There's a green button at the bottom that says share screen.
yeah,
that
no one should click that.
Hover over it.
Somebody-
Hover at the bottom to see it.
But if you re-click it, it will undo it, I think.
Here, let's go out and then come back into the meeting.
Yeah, I think we better leave. My left
know if
hand
it's you.
hits things because it's still not working right. So
Are you Manuel?
Wasn't you,
G's?
Joanne?
what?
It's
not
you, Joanne.
Oh,
I
it's
don't
not
think
you.
it's you. I think it's
Manny.
Good, it's not us.
There we go. Yeah, we got it. I
Mine
think we're
didn't.
good now. Oh, no, it is still there.
No, it's still there.
So if Manuel if you can hear me,
Push anything.
there's a
It's
red button at the top of the screen that should say stop share.
you don't do anything because you're not the one.
Mine's at the bottom of the screen.
You
If I hover over the bottom of it.
I'm going to take away the permission.
There, now we're back. You're back, Andy.
I took away the permission on the share screen, but at some point I'll have to turn it back on for Nathan to show his slides. So let's keep going for now.
Okay. So yeah, this company took a series of aerial photos, not a lot in Vermont, but we kind of really hit the jackpot, I think. They only did a few towns pretty extensively, and they did Marshfield, Plainfield, Calais, and East Montpelier. And the only other one I've really found a lot of pictures of is Waterbury. So anyway, I think we got really lucky that way. And one thing that's really interesting to me is, these have been online for a while, and they have a counter that goes in and keeps track of how many times somebody looks at a picture. And a lot of these in our area have only been looked at maybe a total of 13 times, and probably 10 of those are me. So I don't think a lot of people really know about them. So I was really eager to share them. So the hard part for me actually was trying to limit the number that I was gonna try to present, you know, in the time that we have. So what I did was I picked basically going down part of Route 2 and Route 14, just because those are the main routes. I figured, you know, everybody would probably know those, as opposed to maybe some of the back roads. But there are probably another 100 pictures of Calais and East Montpelier that we're not going to get to today. So if people are interested, I would love to do another one of these maybe in the future. So what I did was I started basically at the edge of Plainfield Village, and we're going to come down Route 2 to East Montpelier Village, and then go out 14 from there, going up 14 towards Woodbury. So Andy, I think you have to put the permissions back in. I'm not getting that coming up.
Right, that's because I removed it. Now I'll put it back in. Hopefully, if somebody's still trying to share, this will override. You can override them, but we'll see. So you should be able to do it now, Nathan.
Yep. All right, so you guys seeing the first picture?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So one thing I think, as Andy mentioned, generally, you know, they were focusing on rural areas and generally on the farms. It didn't always stick to that, but most of what we're going to see is the farms along the way. So this is what I know as Stefani's. And the real interesting part to me on this one is the road you can see here down in the left is Route 2, which currently is much farther left than this. I grew up going, Mrs. Stefani used to have like a yard sale there. And I remember going there and having this driveway, and this was a dead end, and I never knew the road used to be over there. So that was a really interesting picture to me. Does anybody remember? So this is 1966. Does anybody remember when that changed? I think it had to be sometime in the late 60s. I know we moved here in 1971, and of course I don't remember then, but I think my parents have said that it had already changed by then.
I would just remind people, Nathan, that if they want to answer a question of yours, they need to click the unmute button in the lower left-hand corner.
And one interesting thing on this one is I believe all of those buildings are still there.
Ask a question. Did you say this is Tofani's, as in the carpet barn?
No, this was
It's actually Coburn Road.
yeah, Coburn Road is the road here on the left here going out. So it's the brick farmhouse. It's just off, at the end start of Coburn Road.
Oh, yeah, that's
So-
the Fanny's.
Willow Moon Farm or something now?
Yeah.
Yes, yep.
Uh-huh.
I don't have my scroll, so I'm gonna have to do it the old fashioned way.
Yeah, thank you for telling us exactly, as much as possible, exactly where they are.
Yeah, and like we've said, I really like anyone else's memories. So this is down Coburn Road. This is the actual Coburn homestead, Leonard Coburn. This, you know, there's a couple of things as I've looked through these that have really stood out to me that are really interesting. One is, I think in what I'm going to show you, I think all of the houses still exist. What's really interesting is the disappearance of the outbuildings.
Nathan, Nathan.
Yeah.
I noticed one time that you clicked on it and you could make it a little bit larger. I don't
Yeah.
know if that would help
Yeah,
anybody's screen. Yeah, that's plenty for us, but maybe for some folks, yeah, that's terrific. Great, thank you.
So, the house and the L all still exist. I never knew there were barns over here. It looks, pretty definitely that there's a fallen down barn here already in '66. But I don't remember any traces of any of those outbuildings still exist.
May I interrupt? So
Sure.
this covered bridge here, if that's the same one, but the picture on across the onion of the cattle coming in, going across the bridge to this farm here.
Yes,
Pretty
I believe
sure.
you're right. Yep.
Pretty sure.
On my screen, Nathan, I see on that picture, there's a little arrow, white arrow on the right side of the screen that should advance you.
Yeah, and I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing it going the other way.
Go over to the far right of the window of the screen, further to the right, and usually it'll appear. There it is.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
So, different view of the same property. And that's Kate Farm, which it's been a while since I've been back in there. Are the outbuildings to the left of the house still there?
I think that's where they have the greenhouses.
Yeah, I don't think those are still there.
I don't believe they are, no.
Yeah, I think the barn, I'm not sure if the the right hand shed roof on the barn is still there. Can't remember.
I think so.
Another thing that besides the outbuildings that I noticed going through here is very interesting is basically at every house how big the gardens are. They're immense gardens compared to what anybody typically has these days.
I could tell you a little bit about that barn, Nathan.
Sure.
That barn was built by Lee Townsend from Plainfield, the same person that made the covered bridge over on Route 2. And he was did such a good job on the barn. I think my great grandfather Orville Willard Dix had him build at least some of that barn, and he was so impressed. They were so impressed with his work that when my father was born, that'd be his grandson, his middle name was Lee. So my father's name was Stanley Lee Christensen. He was named after the builder of the barn. And later in life, after my mother died, my father married again Marion Guazzoni, who was also a Townsend, and she was a niece to Lee Townsend. So it kind of came full circle there.
Yeah, Lee Townsend built a number of barns in East Montpelier. He was, and he had learned from his father, Herman Townsend. The two of them, actually, father and son, were who built the Martin Bridge just outside of Plainfield. Now, Andy, I already forgot who you said. I know your grandfather lived here for a while. I forgot who was it Hanstein?
That's right.
Yep. So this is just for anyone who doesn't know, this would be the next farm going out Coburn Road from Kate Farm. You're coming up towards Route 14. Just so you can see the fields of 14, but as you're kind of making the bend there.
Nathan, if you can do another magnification,
Yep.
I know it certainly helps us. I don't know about other folks' computers. That's great. Thank you.
Yes.
In 1966, the owner of this would have been Bob Morse and Gloria Morse. And I remember his son, Bruce, I went to grade school with, and we used to play basketball in the barn across from the house.
I know one other thing that's noteworthy to me, that keeps, comes up in a lot of these pictures is the amount of corn that was grown at that time. As we go through here, you'll notice a lot of fields are planted to corn that have not been corn in my memory. Have all just been hayed. So I don't know if that was just something that slowed down over time, or whether there was like a peak where people were going corn or what. But it's definitely a lot more prevalent than anything I remember since then.
If I was to hazard a guess, I don't believe the Morses would have grown that much corn, but possibly they rented that field to Gerald Hawkins, which is just up the hill from there. And Gerald grew a lot of corn.
And that's nothing compared to what's being grown today. Nothing.
Yeah, I guess in terms of like the number of different farms that it was grown at, is what I thought. So we're going to go back now. I did take a little detour here down Coburn Road, but we're going to go back to Route 2. This is Hutchinson Gardens, which I just barely remember as a kid, of the site of Plainfield Hardware now.
Wow. And Trillium June. Yeah, well, that's really, huh. Wow. Wow.
And it looks, can't remember how close that, and this looks like they're redoing Route 2 in this picture, doesn't it?
Yeah, they moved it closer.
Yeah, so I wonder if they, later on, continued on down towards the first picture, and that was when they moved the road.
Wow.
This is.
And then you know what? Then Laguerre bought it from Hutchins.
Yes, that's right. You're right. He was there for a while.
Yep.
So this is the senior center. In my youth, it was the Blueberry Hill, like kind of dance place for a while, and it was, I think, called Sharky's for a little while. But I never, in my memory, didn't know this as a house. Does anyone know who might have lived there at any point?
I'm on the Zoom program here. I'm trying to think of where to stop it. But I got thinking about you. Oh, I
think all behind here is all grown up to woods long ago now.
To do that, but what I was wondering about is I get thinking about Tom, and I kept saying, "Gosh, I don't know what's happening to Tom. Is he?"
Oh, that's Norma, I think. Is that a chicken house in the back? Yeah.
No, oh, it's terrible weather.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I should be off this in an hour.
This is on the corner down from there going towards East Montpelier.
Okay.
The gift barn, as I remember it.
Wow.
And this was Ghost Lance, was the family that lived here all through my memory. I don't think any of these outbuildings or extensions here to the right are still there.
Come on over here.
This was one of the few non-farms they did take a picture of. I don't really know anything about that place. It's still there. Pretty much all I know about it.
Probably
I'm
a good
wondering,
idea.
Andy,
I was gonna say,
I'm
probably a good
wondering if-
idea to magnify each picture, Nathan.
Yeah, I'll try to remember.
and I'm wondering if Mo and Barb Brown want to unmute and whether Mo knows a bit about some of these places. Michelle, can you hear us? And would that work? That's good.
I've got
And
him.
if Mo knows anything, he's welcome to chime in. Thank you.
So what,
It's been so
it's
long.
like, what would this be here and there?
Been so long since
I
I
know,
don't remember
I know.
some of those.
This was the
Wait,
road
how
up
is
there,
that?
wasn't it, after road?
So this looks quite a bit different now. This is the Lairs
Yeah. I just saw
when it was still operating as meat processing.
Yeah.
I just barely remember going there as a little kid in the mid 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the slaughterhouse was in the back.
Yeah.
That was the dairy barn.
I worked there for a long time.
So Nathan,
Yeah.
let's let Mo Brown talk a little bit about there because he worked there and he did a lot related to it. So Mo, tell us what you can. Nathan, again, if you could enlarge, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
There you go, better. Yeah.
Well, okay, go ahead.
No, you go. Go ahead.
No, I can remember that. I worked there in slaughterhouse and they used to pick up cattle. They had a house barn there and behind the house. And this is the other one. They had a barn there. And out back they had another little building. They used to raise pigs in it.
And they had an auction.
Oh yeah, they have auctions there. Yeah, most of the auction stuff was taken away, They did have one in the end. They had a big auction there, auction barn, which isn't there, but that was years ago. Back in the at the fence.
Did you say the slaughterhouse was further down
Yeah,
the road
down,
here?
down that way.
It was behind the barn.
No, it's farther down this way.
And
The
then
auction thing was in between.
behind that was the slaughterhouse.
Yeah,
And
but
then-
if it goes down this way, you'll see it, right
Down
there.
in here?
That was the slaughterhouse.
Okay.
Well, maybe there was something there earlier, but this was a modern one down
This is
here.
This is the garage, this is the barn, and the slaughterhouse will be down in here.
Is that it? That little thing?
Yeah, this would be the slaughterhouse right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, way down in the left-hand corner on the
Yeah.
bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was way back.
Yeah.
I started mowing the lawn and they didn't want to work everywhere, so they put me to work there. Oh,
Nice
farm.
job, right?
So when did that start?
The butchering? Started butchering in there, it must have been back in the,
Late 60s.
I'm gonna say before that, but the slaughterhouse, I think, just to sell it, the meat market behind it was later than that. I got out of high school in 50. Must have been in about mid to late 50s.
Yeah.
I think it was earlier than that. My dad grew up in East Montpelier Village. He was born in 24 and used to talk about all the offal from the slaughterhouse going down the river.
Oh.
I never heard of that before, but I didn't start working there until, well, in the mid to late 50s.
Well,
Up until then, I didn't know too much about it.
we used to take animals to Ray Delaire to butcher, and that was in the early 50s.
And this
So
was
he was-
Delaire's, yeah.
he was going strong at
Yep.
that time.
I worked for him for quite a while. When he got sick, I would do more of his work than anything else.
Push leave. Yeah.
I think somebody lives in there now.
Uh-oh.
Got the phone back. No,
So this is the next one down towards East Montpelier.
I have a Charlie Taylor back then.
Yes, Charlie Taylor's, yeah.
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 His granddaughter lives right near me.
Moment, right, yeah. I know who you are.
You do?
Sure.
How come? We both been around East Montpelier a long time.
Yeah, no, my folks moved there back, it was 1932 or 30 or something like that. I lived from there for about 70 years or 75 years, what do you want to call it? But I didn't work there that long, because after Ray Dallaire died, they didn't do no more business there. They did for a short time, but then they sold it.
You guys all know where that one is, right at the start of 14, the one-room schoolhouse there,
Oh, yes.
and all the Washington Electric buildings. And
Wow.
Yeah.
it's
Gone, the whole
all,
thing's gone.
That's no, that's
Gone.
that's the
That's the
original
town
school.
office.
Gone.
That's the original school in East Montpelier.
Well, that's the town clerk's office.
yeah.
No, that's the town clerk's office, and that's that's the old Templeton Road up there, I guess, and then that's the old route. Yeah, the road toward North
All
Montpelier.
gone. Look at that.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
basically almost everything you see there is all gone, except for the school.
Gone.
Yeah,
That's the
Gone.
borough.
Yeah.
but Pearl had a big farm down in here too.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Wow.
and now that's all gone, and the fire station is out back here now. Probably know that, the old fire station in East Montpelier.
Yeah, across the road.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Is that farmhouse at the lower left, the little Pearl farm?
Yes.
This is a Pearl farm. That's all gone now. The barns are gone.
I know, but was it?
Now it's gone. Yeah,
Okay.
the town bought that chunk of land in the corner there. They own it now for a gravel pit or a sand pit, whatever you want to call it. They get the sand there drawn in so they can sand the roads, the back roads, you know, up Matt Hill and all the way through there.
Now that house that just got taken down there
Yeah.
within the last.
All these buildings are gone now, every one of them.
The timbers are now gonna be built into a house that for the road foreman.
Yeah,
He's gonna, Guthrie, Perry, he's gonna be recycling those timbers into a house over on Wheeler Road.
oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's great.
No.
This road, it's all gone.
But no, that's the original school.
Yeah, yeah.
I went to school there.
It's actually just on the side road there, right?
Now at the town clerk's office.
Yeah. uh-huh.
So was that through 6th grade? There at
Uh,
that school?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Because when I got out, I graduated from grade school. It was still there.
So this is up behind that school. I never really realized that they had a big loop driveway through there originally. I went by there the other day and looked, and you can see where it was. It's grass, you know, they mow it, but it was a looks like their main driveway through there pulling through.
That's that kind of nice.
That's
little-
why the front, I've studied that house a little bit. And the front, that gable, that's the front entry. So it made sense with this driveway that used to go down, closer to Route 2. And now that they closed that off, it's kind of strange because when you go in their driveway, you're coming to the back of the
To the
house.
back. Yeah, I assume, let's go. I assume you can see it right here, going off. I assume the state probably didn't want them to come on 14 if they could be off Kelton.
Fire department is all down here now.
Yeah.
Remember that? East Montpelier Fire Department,
Yep.
and it's down in here.
It's a nice house. I saw pictures of the inside of that house when it was for sale and it's beautiful.
Which one are you talking about?
The one that's on the screen right now.
Oh, that one there? Oh, yeah, it wouldn't be.
That's where Phyllis Dudley used to live.
Right.
She lived up behind the school, up on the bank.
That's right, yeah.
The driveway was on here, and yet they don't use it anymore. Now they've got the road and go in.
Yeah, that's what they were saying.
I think it was Phyllis Dusso.
Oh, that's right. I was thinking in 66. That was before she married Carmi, I think. Or maybe my chronology is wrong, but yeah, she became Phyllis Dusso later.
Well, wasn't she Perky's wife you're talking about?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. He died in Washington, D.C. He was at a annual meeting for the Postal Association. He was president of it. And she died. Remember Andy? And he died right on the podium.
I heard about it, but I think that might have been when I was too young to.
Yeah, I think you were the boy's age. So yeah, you were too young. But he was a postmaster in the East Montpelier. Remember, it was in the corner of Dudley's store.
Yeah. One thing I remember about that hill in back of the school was, what a slope that is. And I know that David Barney, who's here tonight, and all the kids used to play baseball and football and on that slope, which made it kind of interesting. Everything was on a slant.
Yeah, that's right.
That was the original driveway. That's all gone now. They had to go in here.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you can see that last picture, that house is up here. So we're going down 14 a little bit. This is currently the Burrows.
Can you enlarge it?
Is that on Route 14?
Yep.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
All looks the same. That house is there. The garage is there. There's still a trailer there. I'm not sure it's the same one, but it's definitely hasn't changed a lot.
Is that the old Hodgman house?
Hodgman, yeah.
Yes.
I thought, looks like it.
Hodgman?
Hodgman.
Yeah, Marshall Hodgman.
Marshall and Irma.
It's Burroughs lives there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just break in? How do we do it?
Yeah, if nobody else is talking, just talk.
Just now?
Sure.
Nathan, I have a question.
Yep.
This is Austin speaking. And it seemed like they skipped over the Bert Winslow farm out on Route 2. It was between Tefani's and Delaire's.
Yeah. It's right on the curve there.
Yeah, that's where Classic Auto is now.
Yeah.
We did see that. It's
shoot back there quick.
It's the
You
brick
did?
house. That's it. We did.
Oh, I guess,
on the left.
Yeah, the
We did it.
classic autos in there now.
Yep. I knew it as Ghostland in the 80s, but
I guess I didn't see that. Okay.
who was it? What was the name?
It was Bert Winslow when I first came around here.
Okay.
Remember him? Yeah, that's right. Bert Winslow, he was there too. Fireman. Part-time.
And I remember he used to pasture his cows across Route 2.
No.
I think he had Guernsey cows. And Bert had severe osteoporosis, and he was bent over almost double. And when he got ready to move his cows, he moved them across Route 2. Can you imagine doing that today? And you better stop, because Bert's cows were coming across Route 2.
Yeah, but horses didn't run as fast.
Yeah. Now, I didn't see that picture, I guess, or I wasn't looking.
That was the Pearson. I think that was Pearson's in the 1800s. And there used to be a road that went from there up the hill to near where the golf course is.
Oh, really?
And in the 1800s, because Audrey LaFeria remembered using part of it to get to a field that they farmed up there, that Fairmont farms now. But she would go on the railroad bed, and then she'd use this old road, and you can see it on the 1800s maps.
Oh,
But it's all gone
interesting.
now. They use it for the snowmobile trail that goes up there. It goes kind of up the hill from there, kind of near in that area.
Way back then, it used to go right from East Montpelier Road to Plainfield Road, all over the hill, right into Berry. Years ago.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, that road. And Greg Western, who's doing the Cross Vermont Trail, thinks it might have been called the Old County Road. It kind of is an extension of Clark Road up on East Hill.
Yeah. So
Is
Bragg
that Hales?
Farm.
Is that Hales?
I know it is Bragg Farm. I don't know who it was before that.
Barney before that.
Oh, this is Bragg's?
Yep.
Oh, so the barn's gone?
Yeah, the barn was taken down probably in the last 10 years.
Nah, probably a little longer than that, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
this,
Yeah.
this is David Barney. Yeah, that's my grandfather owned the farm for many years before they sold it to the Braggs. But I worked in the fields helping them with the cows and stuff when I was growing up.
Little different view of the same farm.
That's the same farm, yeah.
Yeah.
Barney or Bragg now, yeah.
Well, back then, it would change owners every few years back then.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they did 4 or 5 times. They changed it, kept selling it and changing it around way back in the 40s.
That burned not too many years ago, that place.
Yeah.
No, a long time ago.
Beautiful barn.
Yep.
Yeah, it really was.
Just the
There
house.
was a slaughterhouse right along there too.
Oh, yeah, barn's all gone now. It's tore down. They quit farming for a while.
When was there a slaughterhouse? What era?
Right. You know, I think in the 70s, maybe into the 80s.
Okay.
The next one down, the next one north.
Right. But that burned probably 20 years ago at least.
Yeah.
Major fire.
And who lived there in the 60s? Was that Clish?
Yeah, yeah. Clish owned it for quite a few years.
And what was his first name again? I forgot.
I was gonna say Armin, but maybe that's not correct.
Is it Roland? Or is
Oh.
it?
Oh,
Maybe that's right. I can't remember.
but,
Wasn't
so
wasn't
this
his name
one,
Bob Barney? Bob? Is that his name?
Yeah, my father's Bob Barney. It was Bob Barney.
Okay.
so probably 30, 35 years ago, this built barn was bought by Russ. I forget what his first name was. And they had a-
Ivan.
Ivan, and they had a sign business in there. But he also bought the big barn across from the covered bridge in Marshfield.
Yeah, the
They
Orton
they were
barn.
into big barns and they lost both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Rick Barstow. I was on that fire when that barn burned down around 20 years ago, late 90s, maybe around 2000, I think.
Yeah.
So this is just up from that on the other side of the road. Andy, I think this was the one where you said you used to play there. You're muted, Andy.
David, are you still there?
Yeah, is that our old house?
I'm thinking this might be the house. Maybe Nathan, you could just go ahead one picture and then come back to this one.
Yep.
I think
Yeah,
that's your old.
Yeah, that's our old house.
Now the one below there, that'd be your grandfather's, where the house that they moved to, right?
Yeah, my grandfather Ernest Barney bought the little house down below, and that's where they lived.
I can remember that. I forgot him.
That one's just been pretty well refurbished.
Yeah, they did a lot of work on it. I understand.
Yeah.
That's where I used to play pool with your grandmother, David. Remember?
Yeah, they had that porch there had a pool table in there.
Oh.
Memories.
So yeah, that's the next one up. You can just see Daggett Road here up at the very top corner there.
The garden.
Yeah, I grew up in that. I grew up in that house, with a total of 8 kids. Three small bedrooms upstairs, 2 down. I don't know where everybody was, but in '66, I would have been there. There were 6 kids in '66.
Did it burn?
Did the house burn?
Mhm.
No, they sold the house after my father died. In the last few years here, it was sold to a couple.
Because there's a house that's got a gambrel roof, I think, there now.
Yeah, I don't know. This house had a roof that's metal right now. At least
David, where did you go to school when you were living in this house?
all the East Montpelier schools. The last was U32.
Okay. And then what about elementary school? Were you in the more modern one or one of the smaller ones?
Well, the smaller ones for a few years, and then to the elementary school for the last 2, I believe.
Okay.
So were you in like the one that's the town offices now, or in North Montpelier, or?
I went to the one that you shown earlier in East Montpelier for second and third, I believe, and then I went to the North Montpelier schools for another couple of years, and then they finally built a new one, and I finished up in the new one. But you can see all the forest here. I can see it's all wide open now, but we used to play in those. We also had, I think in '66 they had a potato field out back there. That
Yeah,
looks
I
like
think-
the potato
Yeah,
field.
over here, yeah.
Yeah. And we would plant the potatoes and then harvest it in the fall. Yeah, and it does look like we have a big, we got corn, and we would have a roadside stand and sell all the vegetables that pay for the school clothes and all of the stuff that we require for going to school. But all of that is corn and other vegetables. Yeah, right in there.
Yeah, and down this side too. Looks
Yeah.
like good-sized garden.
It was a big one.
So that's the Coburns at the end of Daggett Road.
Excuse me.
That looks pretty much the same now, I think.
I think his sister built a house on the right, where the road looks like it cuts over. Sister built a house over there.
Yeah, it looks like there's something there, and even in this. Hard to tell behind the tree, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out where we would be looking here in the background. See the road and the building there? Where would that be? That must be, it must be Coburn Road, right?
Yeah, because
Wow.
that Daggett Road went down to Coburn Road. It went
Yeah.
straight down the hill.
Yeah. Just, I sure don't think you would see it now through there with all the tree growth. I guess you probably only reason you're seeing it here is because you're up in the air probably anyway.
Does anybody know the lady that she used to live in the Coburn house on Coburn Road, and she's a Coburn, and she built herself a little house near the Coburn house we saw the barn and everything?
Yes, Beverly Levine.
Yes. So she built herself a little house right on the other end of the road that went through. It's her driveway.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Right across from Cape Farm driveway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you talking about Bev Levine?
Yes.
Okay.
Pretty good crew, about 20.
I did that farm list thing, so I've talked to lots of people about locations.
This is a really interesting photo to me, being so close to my home, the current Orchard Valley School.
Oh.
Yeah.
That looks so deal. The house is still there, but everything else is so different.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it went into a dairy farm on the other side. Wow. They had a tie stall barn to the south of the house.
Didn't the Hawkins have a farm right along there?
Yeah, I think this was Hawkins, which it was Gerald Hawkins, is that right?
Yeah, Gerald Gerald Hawkins.
Yes.
And his wife was Dot. And one thing that was interesting back during Prohibition was that they stored bootleg hooch in the cellar. And a rival gang came and held them up at gunpoint to steal them. And so Dot and Gerald walked down the road to one of those earlier pictures that we called where the Handsteins was. That's where my grandfather was and my father were living at the time. He was a young boy. And they're knocked on the door around 2 a.m. Saying, we've been robbed. And my grandfather looked at Gerald and says, well, what do you want me to do about it? You want me to call the police and let them know that you're illegally storing liquor? And, so there really wasn't much to be done.
Passed by that.
One other interesting thing I'll share here. I've been reading a lot of early North Montpelier history. And there's a woman's remembrances. She was a Butterfield in, I think like it was 1915 maybe. And some of her remembrances from like the 1860s. And in that document, she talks about a couple things in this area. One is that the first sawmill in the North Montpelier area was actually on the stream that's in this wood line here. So just down, actually crosses 14, just north of this farm. It's a pretty small stream, but
Very small.
according to her, there was a sawmill there, and the pasture that's on the left, where Seth Gardner has his cows, that was actually a mill pond there. And I've been trying for a long time, tried to figure out where that sawmill was. And in this woman's remembrances, she talks about this farm and is very clear that the road at that time was on the other side of the house. So that 14, you can see 14 here down on the left. According to her, it was on the other side of the house here. I don't know if it went between the house and the barn or what, but that still trying to learn. I've never really seen that on a map, but and that would put the mill quite a bit downstream from 14, if that was, because that was where the road crossed at that time, and the sawmill was on the road. But that's out in the field now. So this is the next house north from there. This is Christy Ferguson is there now. This is another one where all of the outbuildings are long gone. The barn was there in the last 20 years, but it's gone now. And this was one of the early settlers. I'm not sure, probably wasn't this house, but this site was Dr. King. Was one of the first in this area. He was the local doctor in town, and I think it was his daughter married one of Samuel Rich's sons, and lived in the area.
Does anybody know who lived there in 66? I'm thinking it might have been, is it Carol Colburn, or it was a Colburn, I think. Anybody know, or?
I can't even picture the place.
It was a Colburn, but it wasn't Carol.
And are we, which side of Route 14 are we looking at? I think it's the left-hand side going.
That's on the west side of Route 14. It's on the left as you're heading north towards the school.
Go live. So I can make a comment. You are live. Reginald Coleman.
Conrad wonders, was it Reginald Coburn?
No, that doesn't sound right.
That doesn't sound, yeah, I don't remember that.
Not funny.
I know in later years, Gerald Hawkins, when he sold the farm, he and Dot moved into that house.
Yeah, that's what I know about. That's the one I thought had burned. This is Gambrel when I was in the wrong place before.
There's another Colburn. What the heck would that be?
I remember going there with Dad. When this was trying to sell a milking machine. That's why I can't make the barns look right. Bunch of stuff fell down for the 60s. That's right. So
this is at the top of the hill, heading down into North Montpelier on the right-hand side.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know anything about that one either.
I believe this is the house just below the school. And I think
so.
I think if you look, if you could zoom, I don't know if you can zoom in or not, but in the back, I think that there's a fence on the end of that field. And when David and I think I see a fence.
I think there's a fence there, yeah.
Yeah, in that field is where David and I used to play baseball when we went to grade school there. And that house on the left, I think that was Burton Parker.
Yeah, right.
Of course, Burton Parker was a brother to Gladys Stunkling.
That's right.
This is Selena Moore's, the original Rich's Tavern. Looks, the land around it looks a lot different now.
Yeah, it does.
The trees along Route 14 and
in 1966, that rich mansion was bought by a minister who was at the old brick church named Illingworth.
That's right.
And I think he did some work to restore the house. And I remember he had an open house one time so people could see it. And I think on the right is where my piano teacher, Ruth Walker, was. We give piano lessons out of her house.
Yeah. My boys used to was there when you were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's the next one down from Selena, next couple.
Excuse me for a minute. Did you, Andy, were you in high school when Mr. Illingworth was teaching? Down in
No,
Montpelier?
no, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I know my older brother had him in class. But so that would have been in early 60s.
Next couple down on 14 going towards North Montpelier. This one is a real interesting one to me. I don't remember the mill. Guess probably, I know they burned the main mill in, I think it was 81 or somewhere around there. I didn't realize the mill was this extensive on the other side of the road. Because, this is Dave Rogers, and the house that I know as Cerruti's is basically behind this tree. But the edge of that mill building can't be too far off that house. And I just never knew that extended on. I knew about the lower portion here. And I knew basically there's a drive that goes down by where that was, but I never knew this extended anywhere that far up along 14.
Is that the mill? Yeah, the woolen mill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked one summer in the woolen mill, filling up the buckets with bobbins. Yeah, they keep them
So
full.
here's a bobbin. If I can get it into the, wait a minute. There's a bobbin.
Yeah, they were.
I lived in the apartments when I was going to Goddard. I lived in the apartments, and that building on the other side was still there. So I got some wool and I got these bobbins, and you see there's a little hair tie right here. So this is how I would just this is how I would, when I was throwing my pots, this is how I would do the depth of the mugs and stuff. And so this thing I've had since I was 20 years old. I'm tired from pottery now. So it's a relic.
So at that time, the mill was there, but it wasn't running, or was it, or?
It was, no, you could kind of just walk into the buildings that
Okay.
nobody was using it, but there was still wool. I mean, we took some, we took away some stuff to try and, knit with, or, I had a belt loom, and so, but it was all kind of faded. I think it had been hanging around for too long to actually use.
Yeah, my mother also worked in the mill for a number of years there. I guess that's how I got a summer job for doing in that.
And what year would that have been?
I can't remember. It would have been probably in high school. It was a summer worth, probably later than 66.
Okay.
Here's Laura Brown's house.
Yeah, Laura Brown's.
Yeah, it looks like it. These are amazing pictures. I'm really impressed.
Just across the road from Laura's with North Montpelier Pond. The house is still there. I don't think the barn is. Or I don't know if that's a barn right there. It's probably not a barn, but boathouse?
It's quite a.
Well, this was
there's
an interesting one for me
graveyard.
too.
That's the Poplar Cemetery.
Yeah, Poplar Hill Cemetery.
Up
This
above
house
there.
still exists. This was interesting to me. I never knew there was a service station garage there.
Ooh.
But Andy filled me in a little bit. That the one that was Milton Pulsifer?
Yeah, I don't know anything about the history of that.
Yeah, I think it was Milton Pulsifer, and his wife, I think, was Lucille.
He had two boys.
Yeah, Charlie and I knew Charlie. I forgot who the other was.
Nancy's his wife. Charlie and Nancy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's hard to tell, but I think there's a gas pump out front there. It's right behind the street light, but it looks like there's something there.
And is that cemetery still there?
Yeah.
Don't move it.
It's kind of hard to find the driveway. It's past that house, but it doesn't look like much. And it's up a steep hill.
Yeah. So this is again the next one out of town on that same side. This main house is here. We're wondering what, these, it sure doesn't look to be like a real driveway to these. So I'm guessing these were just like seasonal camps. Sure doesn't seem to be any way to get to them in the winter. But I don't know whether they were related to this house or they were separate camps, or there's some decent sized structures for camps, but
The
like I
pond's
said,
pretty weedy.
what's that?
The pond is weedy.
Yes.
Now, Nathan, is there now a house further up on the left there? Between
Yeah,
where,
there's a couple of houses further up,
Okay,
right on 14.
yeah, well, it's down below the roadaways though. Below 14. The old, what was it, the Kern School, I think it was called. It used to be up at the corner of Lightning Ridge there. The old schoolhouse that used to be there, I always was told that that got moved down to this bank, and it's that house that sits sort of halfway between the road and the pond.
Oh, no, that's nothing I've heard before. That's very interesting.
Heard the name, Card School.
What did you say was the name?
I've
The
heard the name.
school?
I think, if I'm remembering right, I think it was the Carnes Schoolhouse. Carnes.
Yeah, okay. Huh.
And it used to sit right there on the corner, you know, where the Four Corners is right there before you head up to the elementary school. Well, as you head up toward the school, it's right there on the corner before, you know, it's trees and stuff now, but.
So it's on the corner? Where did it get moved to?
Down to where this picture is.
The previous picture.
On the low side of 14.
Yeah, it's a bigger square looking building than this, than what you see here. So I would say that it's probably uphill here a little bit on the left.
Yeah.
I think Audrey LaFeria told me something about that school being moved.
Yeah.
Is this picture still in East Montpelier?
You're in Calais now.
That's what I
technically.
thought. That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Calais starts just beyond Poplar Hill, doesn't it?
Yeah, Poplar Hill's actually in Calais.
I think it's before that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So this is that intersection. Kind of hard to really see much of the intersection, but 14 is just barely visible here at the bottom. And this is Max Gray going out. So the house, again, that house is there. Barn isn't. This is another one where that whole field, you know, it's always just been hay in my memory, but there's a big field of corn there at this time.
Yeah, that's Gerald Hawkins corn.
Yeah.
So the Carnes School would have been across the road, right? Across the road from the barn.
Yeah.
Where you'd be headed up to the left, up to the Lightning Ridge.
This is interesting. I hadn't noticed this before. This vehicle right here, is that, I'm not sure what that is, whether that's some sort of, I guess it's a bus. I was thinking at first it was some sort of like early RV or camper, but I think it's actually a bus. But it's a good sized vehicle.
So these are for sale if you wanted to see them without the printing on them?
Yes, I should have pointed that out. Yeah, they are copyrighted, so they do have the thing, and yes, they are for sale. It's vintageaerials.com. And I'm not 100% certain. Are these 66? What, Andy, is the one that you have color?
Is it what?
Is it color or black and white?
Well, we have some of both. The earliest pictures, they had some early pictures that went back into the late 50s. So I've seen, we have a picture of this place, and also I remember seeing a picture of Adamat. I think that was probably in the late 50s, but then I know we have one, well, it must have been around 1966 that we have a large color one. It was, it'd be painted, it's like a painting almost, except it's, and it's in a frame. It's probably about, 2 feet wide. And,
it's color.
Yeah, I can't remember if, when you go on, I mean, this is all you can actually view, and I can't remember whether the ones that you can buy are color or not. I just don't remember.
This is Max Gray Road.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna need to drop off. It was a pleasure to see all these pictures. So And it was great that you invited me to the meeting.
Thanks for joining us, David.
Yeah, no problem. Catch you later.
Yeah.
Bye. Who's that? I don't
So this is basically the next farm out 14. I know it as Bruce Clish. This was the
Oh, yeah.
junk or depending on your feeling, quite a car collection anyway. So this was all this area was all enclosed and thousands of cars there. Now, is this, was Bruce Clish here? Was that related to the Clish that was just by Bragg Farm? Is that anything anybody knows?
I don't know. I think so, but I'm not sure.
You want to say if you think they were really?
When did the cars come there? After this picture?
Watching it for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know when the car collecting started.
Nathan, I don't remember it when I was a kid and we'd go up to camp that way. I don't remember cars being there.
Yeah. I mean, I know they were definitely there. I remember picking strawberries in probably 83 here at Laguerre's, and they were definitely there then.
Oh, yeah. I would have said that it was probably back in the, maybe late 50s.
I remember them.
Early
in
60s.
70s and 80s. I remember seeing them.
Oh, yeah.
Cars, yeah. So, yeah, I know this is Laguerre. Don't know who it was prior to that.
Oh, yeah. This is Laguerre's farm.
But yeah, house is still there, barn's still there.
Laguerre farm.
A lot of
Where they raise vegetables and
things that Laguerre had built over here for the retail business.
Pete's Greens owns it now.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah, you need to excuse yourself. Okay.
So this is a very interesting one. This is Nasli sign for Laughing Bear Antiques, but the real interesting thing here is more up here to the upper left.
Homestead Theater.
Is that what it was called?
Yeah, that was the Homestead Theater.
Homestead Theater. Did not know that.
I remember going there sometimes when we were up at camp when we were kids. It was kind of fun. You know, and right out by the house, out back, they had a little concession stand, and while people were waiting for that's the projection hut.
Yeah.
But then they'd play horseshoes and stuff like that until it got dark enough to watch the movie, and then go down there. I remember seeing the Old Man and the Sea down there with, just kind of exciting, but anyway.
Yeah, I asked Andy if there were any concessions, and he didn't remember, but good to know there were.
Yeah, it was just basically popcorn, I think, that they cooked up at the house there. But it was pretty local.
Paul, that must have been in the 50s?
I would say probably late 50s to around 1960.
Because did you live in East Montpelier then?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah.
No, we moved from Hartford, Vermont in 58 to Montpelier.
Yeah, okay. Because I used to take my boys up there to in the early 50s.
Uh-huh.
But you can't see like the little the little sound system things that they would have had in the field, right? They would have had to have sound for it.
There weren't any. There was one big speaker, and you rolled your window down.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Go ahead and go to the bathroom. I'll wait for you. I gotta go too.
Everybody in the car had to be quiet.
And you hope that the mosquitoes weren't active that night.
Right.
What side of the road is this?
that only ran for 4 or 5 years, I think. Does that sound familiar?
Yes.
Yeah.
What side of the road is this?
Trying to think, the name was
If you're
Coffin,
going,
wasn't it Coffin?
Coffin, yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
Coffin, yeah,
It's on the north side going, I mean, it's on the left side going north.
Okay.
yeah.
I used
I
to go up
remember,
there.
I mean,
I used to
in
go
the-
up there when I was a young kid, back in a teenager.
Uh-huh.
Movie 2-3 times there.
I mean, even up through the 80s, I think even the 90s, if you knew where to look, you could still see that screen in there.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I imagine it's still there, probably just covered in trees now. I see
Right.
the little projection booth here. This was an interesting one to me. This is the next house up on that side, going towards Calais. And I looked at this and I said, oh yeah, well, that house is still there. I recognize that house, but that barn's long gone. And I got on Google Maps and I couldn't believe it. That barn is still there. You just can't see it at all because it's trees in front of it.
That's the Goslin place.
Goslin?
Goslin lives there now, right? Up to the left of the highway on the going north.
Yep. You can still just barely make out this roadway up to that barn.
Huh.
Yep.
Oh, they were all cut down. And then you go back.
So this is Ruben's farmhouse cafe for quite a few years.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And there's a horse arena has been built up in back here too. But I think most of those barns still exist. The driveway isn't a pull through like this anymore. It's just here on the left-hand side.
Yeah, yeah.
The cafe.
Yeah, they've gone over time.
Now,
This
was that last place Leonard's?
Yes. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
And Ed Leonard had the sugar house. It was kind of raised up right at the foot of Peck Hill Road there, just the south end below the house.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is East Calais Village. This is the one kind of set up high. You can see the retaining wall here on the south side.
That Roses, I mean, yeah, the Rachel Rose's family.
Do I know?
I know.
Homestead.
So I'll say something about it. Say something about it.
So
Was
this is looking up toward East Hill. Is that right? On the
Yeah.
right-hand side is you. So is this Dwinell Homestead right here in the middle?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think all of that structure is still there.
Yeah.
Are we looking west?
No, it should be east,
East.
Jennifer.
We're looking east.
Looking
it's on the-
east.
Okay,
Yeah, so it's on the right-hand side when you go into
right,
East Calais Village, and that stone wall is pretty, you
right.
know, it's neat and tidy and, and it's pretty, obvious.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's still in Dwinell family. They seem to have had kind of an organization to maintain the house and the property, but I don't know the status of it today.
We used to go to Calais Historical Society meetings up at the house every once in a while. Oh, once every couple of years.
Isn't that house right in East Calais Village?
Yes,
Okay,
practically across from where you'd go across to Moscow there.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And it's up on a hill.
Yeah, right on the bank there, yeah.
Yeah, right.
These are the next couple further up at the north end of East Calais Village.
Uh-huh.
Those are still basically the same.
Gardens up there.
Yeah, and you can see the pretty good sized garden up there behind.
Yeah.
This was an interesting one to me too. This is the first house after the East Calais ball field. Well, it was the first house at that time. There's actually another house there now, but this house is still there. What's really interesting to me is this pond. Got to really look as you're going by to see that. I never knew that was there. So good sized, I would say definitely man-made pond. That's long abandoned now. This is the next house after that. Well, at that time anyway. This is Ballantyne Road here. This house still exists, all the same, with a porch here and barn behind with a shed. That's all still there and basically the same architecture.
Does it still have a cobblestone chimney?
It does.
Yeah.
It's exact. Yeah, I looked at it today on Google Maps. It does still have that cobblestone chimney. So again, this is the next house up from that. The Calais Town Garage, I think, is out here to the left. But this, I think, was the sand pit and was and is. I think that sand pit has been greatly increased in size, but this house is still there. I think all of the outbuildings are gone. I think it's just the house now. And again, the size of the garden there, running up both sides of that drive.
Do you know who owned that?
No, I don't. And again, the next one up from that on that side,
Similar.
the house and everything is still there. It's weird. There's actually 2 gables on that house now, versus the one that's here. This little dormer. I'm sorry, dormer here.
There's a road here, and there's a.
And again, this path is still there. That's actually looks to be a fairly decent driveway now. So I'm assuming maybe there's a house up and back there too.
Excuse me.
And I think that's what I had for today, which probably an hour and a half is.
That's great.
And like I said, there's that for going out Route 2 from the village, and I'm gonna say I'm not sure it's all, but most of the back roads. Snow Hill Road, Hammett Hill, and Center Road, and trying to think of what other ones I know I've seen.
County?
Hill Road.
There's a few, there's a few on County.
Town Hill Road used to have a lot of farms.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I know the Hawkins farm there. I'm not sure I've seen that one, but it might be there. Well, so just a little bit more background. So there are one thing that is very difficult about these is they're, at least for the Vermont ones, I guess I'd even clarify, in our area of Vermont, there is no organization to these, and there is no geographical information to tell you what you're looking at. So what you have seen tonight is the product of a lot of hours of mine trying to get some organization here. And so there are 38 rolls of film, which have about 40 pictures on each one.
Oh,
and what you know is it's Washington County, Vermont. So I, many winter nights, have taken a roll of film and looked through them endlessly, trying to find something that I recognized. And they are pretty good, you know, pretty well, you know, they took them as they flew and they flew up the road. So if you can find one, that's good. You kind of know where you are. If you can tell two, then you kind of know which direction they're going up the road. And that helps you fill things in. But so I am developing my own, I have a spreadsheet, and I am, as I recognize things, filling in the locations. So one thing we didn't get time for tonight, but you know, was hoping maybe we could, or maybe we can in the future, is to enlist all of you to, instead of me telling you what you're looking at, hopefully maybe we can reverse that and I can say, all right, all you people, does anybody recognize this?
So is there some kind of coding? Do they have like letter coding or numbers or something to identify the picture?
You have a roll number, and within that roll, a picture number.
Okay.
So it's roll 13, picture, you know, 21. And that's how I'm doing my you know, list of them is with that. But if you go in there, that, you know, so that's, you know, part of the reason that not a lot of people look at them, because, you know, you're just throwing a dart and hoping to find something. And I basically have thrown enough darts that I have, but I will admit that I am not really sure on some, you know, one of the reasons I ended up doing 14 and 2 was I knew them. There are definitely roads where, like, for example, I can pick out the Sibley barn, right? Kind of hard to miss that one. But going back and forth from there, there's a lot of farms that I don't recognize. And, you know, I don't know if that means that, you know, they're burned and gone. Probably not. I think most of them are just, you know, not familiar enough with whatever road.
Well, I wonder if this crowdsourcing idea, if we could maybe put a page on the website that has, you know, if any of us have found something where they're pretty sure. I mean, I would do this. This is up my alley, and I did the farm list, so I know I know everything where things are. But I would do that. I could totally do that. Is to make a web page on the East Montpelier Historic site that has a list of where when people have found stuff, because it's like a needle in a haystack. Hi, Manny.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Nathan, could you tilt your laptop screen a little bit? You're falling off the bottom.
All right, yeah.
And,
There you go.
and I also thought that I'd show you what we bought in '66 from that same time, if I can back up far enough that you can see.
Oh yeah.
That's it's quite large.
It's farm, I think. Aerial.
Nathan,
Yeah.
Are you one of the Phillipses from the Route 14 South?
No, I'm not. Yeah, my family's from Massachusetts. We're the only ones of our family up here.
Well, I'm wondering if I'm one of the few native Vermonters here.
No, there's quite a few, Norma.
Yeah, I
you
know.
are.
I know.
I am. You are. Native Vermonter.
am.
I've been one for 98 years. So I'm proud to be a Vermonter.
Well,
98
Nathan,
years.
thank you very much. And maybe Jennifer and you can play around with the idea of posting, you know, whatever, a dozen at a time or something. And people can peek
I'd like
at
to
it.
Put it in one place.
Yep. And Jennifer, when you're ready, you know, let me know. We'll broadcast it out through the email list.
Point at people, they can see.
And
Because it'd be nice to have the link there too, to post the link of
Not
this.
an awful lot of people here.
yeah, we had
Facility.
sure easily over 30 people tonight. Lot of doubling up on screens. Yeah, and the my only reflection on it all is like the places look similar to each other, didn't they? You know, especially from the air. You'd have what they call the big house, the little house, the back house, and the barn. There's a wonderful song about farms being built kind of like that with the continuity of the building.
27.
Yeah, but going right up 14, it's almost like the same builder built a lot of the same house, you know, built a lot of the houses.
That's right.
They can hear you.
I want to thank you, Nathan, for all the hours you put in on this.
Thank you.
Just thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
And
Yes,
Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you. Yeah, it's incredibly interesting to me to see in one sense, how much has changed, but we went through that whole, I don't know how long that stretch is, and I don't think there was one of those houses that isn't there anymore. Just with the outbuildings not being used, a lot of them, I would say probably the majority of them are gone. And again, the how much more prevalent, growing your own, having a big garden, and especially, when you had 8 kids, that was an economic necessity. But
Well,
yeah,
back
it's
in-
really interesting.
Back in those
to me.
days, the houses were built, a lot of them post and beams and stuff like that. So they lasted a long time, and sometimes they got taken down and put up somewhere else, like is happening with the one down in East Montpelier Village. So they get recycled, and that doesn't happen so often with new houses. So we're lucky from a historical standpoint to have that be true.
I want to check into that moved schoolhouse more too.
Sure.
So that was on 14, was it on like the inside corner of 14 and Lightning Ridge?
Well,
So like if you were,
it would have been on the only corner where there isn't a structure now at one point. Well, let's see, I guess the barn isn't there anymore.
The
Across-
southwest corner.
Across Route 14.
Southwest.
Southwest corner.
southwest corner?
So if you're going north, you'd come up, and it's the 4 corners there where Gray Road, Max Gray Road goes off on the right. On the left, right there, just before you turn left, is where the schoolhouse sat.
Yeah. That's really interesting. I'm gonna see what I can find, what else I can find out about that.
All right.
I'll let you say if you want to.
Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. And your fearless leaders will be meeting. We're not going to have a meeting in December or January, and not because of the weather, because that doesn't affect this. It just takes time for us to get together And if you have ideas of folks who could do something from home like this, and Nathan, you know, perhaps we can have sort of a work session where you wouldn't have to have all the pictures, you know, identified and lined up, but we could, you know, you could certainly find some that you maybe have a clue and we can take it from there.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of them I have, like, I pretty sure it's on a certain road, you know, and I just can't place it on that road. So,
Yeah, and if we could start with Sibley's Barn or, you know, one of those places, certainly we can radiate out from that. So
yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, a very good holiday season. Take it easy, watch your step, keep your mask on hand because we're not out of the forest yet. And this has been a wonderful way to see everybody and to have a common interest to discuss. So thank you again, Andy, for being our Zoom host, and Nathan for all that time and willingness to share it. All right.
And we look forward to the
Yes.
next.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good to see Conrad and Ann
Who is Manny's?
and
Pardon?
Mo and Barb.
Hi, Austin.